Today is Sunday, May 3rd, and I did something today that I really haven't done yet. Um, I haven't recorded one of these in a few days, and I kind of had this feeling that the last diary I recorded was kind of sad, or I don't know, it just felt like it had the wrong energy to it. And I remembered I was sort of emotional at one point, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go back and listen to it and delete it. That was my plan, was to delete it. And I listened to it and I thought, oh, this isn't bad. This is fine. This is good. I'm okay. This was it's definitely where I was that day. And then the most extraordinary thing happened. In fact, I've been having such a great past few days that I didn't record anything, which happens to me a lot. When life is going well, I tend to be in life and not reflecting on it, which is just an interesting thing to notice. I have a lot of diaries from the miserable places in my life, which I am the last person. I will never burn a diary. I'm not that kind of person because I love the archival quality of diaries and things like that. But um, it's interesting to think that the vibration of all of my diaries is a little bit not so good. um, but right after the last recording, I received this reading from Fiona Wong. And if you want to look up my conversation with her, that was, I don't know, it was a few posts ago. And she did a human design reading for me. And then she initiated a program that is, it's a little bit human design, it's a little bit astrology, it's a little bit of a tarot card reading. And then at the end, you end up with a website that she does for you, which I'm telling you, that's where she got me. Done for you. Anything that says done for you, I'm a sucker for that. So we did the Tanya's Human Design Reading 2.0, which was a little bit of a deeper exploration into it. And man, if that just hasn't shifted my thinking on a whole bunch of things, because it helps me understand how I operate. And, if you're just doing you all the time, it's pretty hard to know um, what's working, what isn't. I mean, sure, you can look at how people respond to you and things like that, but sometimes you just can't get at the little micro part of what's working and what's not. And once she told me that I was a projector and that my thing is not to go and make things and put them out in the world, but to be invited. Because, and I'm telling you, I still remember being in fourth grade when Miss Malin said, she pulled me aside. She brought me up to her desk while everyone was working on some project, and she was basically telling me to cool it. And she said, not everyone gets it as quickly as you do or understands as quickly as you do. Apparently I was that kid that was like, pick me, I know the answer. And oh, you people are so stupid. How come you don't know the answer? I was a little bit like that. And she basically was telling me to just be patient with people and be more patient because not everyone got the problem as quickly as I did. So mix that with, what I'm learning now about needing to be invited to do a thing. Because, I'll throw an idea out there or a project or whatever, and damn if I don't hear crickets most of the time, which is annoying and sucks. And it's a little bit related to that last conversation I had about being seen. But it's deeper than that too. It's an exploration for me into not just creativity, but how to present it and how to work with it. And in the past few weeks, I've been having the most extraordinary series of experiences where I put a thing out there and sort of just put a picture on Instagram or something, or a client calling or writing to invite me to do a project. There was one for Mother's Day. There was another like an art project um, that someone invited me to do. And I realized that when I get those invitations, do you sell this picture? Or could you do this thing for me? Or could you do a book like this for me? Then I go kind of nuts, and in fact, uh, my friend who asked for a Mother's Day, I think she wanted a picture, or maybe she didn't know what she wanted. She wanted a little book. And I thought, oh, little book. and I put something together that was 70 pages and total overkill. But that's what happens. Give me the invitation and I will go kind of bananas with it. And I love that. I love that I'm like that, and I love that that's what inspires me. So it's really good for me to know from the human design information is telling me that I just need to wait because these invitations always come, and it's true, they do. I've been so lucky in my life that people just show up out of thin air. I had a really hard time when the world went to the internet, um, because everything I did was relationship based, and it was more intimate and personal. And a person would call me and say, "Oh, I'm so and so's friend," and I was just like that little black book person that got passed around, and I loved it that way. I loved that I didn't have to post on Instagram or post on Facebook or do anything. I didn't do anything for marketing ever, ever. And I really liked that. Um, there are a couple words in my life that I really don't like. Marketing is right up there, top 10 for sure. Marketing, self promotion, advertising, PR. Sorry, Courtney. In fact, I'm going to have a conversation. My friend Courtney does PR, and I want to have a conversation with her so that she can help me feel better about PR because I don't. Um, and I'm a sucker for it. I'm a sucker for great marketing. Like I totally say, yeah, if you market something to me in a certain kind of way that feels beautiful, beautiful and smooth and real, it has to feel real, man. If I get a whiff of, fake, I don't want it. Uh, yeah, because what I love beauty. I was enjoying a conversation that my friend Dana was having with her friend Amber Valletta, who's a big model, and well, they both were models, and they're both writers now, and I loved what they had to say about the importance of beauty. Yeah, beauty is really important to me, but I want the beauty to be kind of raw. I like raw beauty. I think it's why Peter Lindbergh was one of my favorite photographers, and Peter Beard was another one of my favorite photographers, because there was a rawness to that beauty that felt more authentic than the super polished, airbrushed, overdone, over filtered, over everything. I can't stand that kind of thing, really. Um, yeah, so interesting, and it's such a. I can't wait to. I'm going to post another great story or conversation I had with my friend Patricia, who's been in the fashion business a long time, and we just sort of talked ourselves in circles about what's happening now and what's falling apart and what's happening next. And um, anyway, once again, I'm off track and don't really have a point, and just just wanted to say that it's such a beautiful thing to get into a space of creative flow. And I have been in a lot of creative flow lately. I mean, I posted a few different pictures on Instagram, and all these different people wanted to buy them, which is funny because I also made my Instagram private because I don't like the way Instagram has decided that they can steal photographers' rights. So I've locked everything down into a little bit more of a private place, which I like, which makes me feel good. And I've sold more, which is kind of crazy. And I realized that the feeling of selling my art also makes me really happy. Can't wait to have a conversation with my dad here because we're going to have a little tour of his studio. In fact, given enough time, I might even create a series of courses of him teaching because Fiona, in fact, same Fiona told me about human design. Fiona wanted to learn about painting, watercolor painting. And I said, my dad could teach you. Piece of cake. He could teach you more in an hour than you will ever learn from any online course. And so I just went for a walk in the woods and talked to my dad for an hour about watercolor painting, just a conversation about what he would teach and how he would do it and some of the things that he knows. And I thought, oh my God, I need to film him teaching all this stuff because he just oozes information. I mean, it's funny. I don't really want to teach photography because I don't think I can teach what I do because what I do is more feeling based and less technical. There's some overlap, but he can teach the techniques that then allow people to expand their creativity. I mean, just little things like, did you know that you need to paint your watercolor on paper that is either taped down or part of a block because the watercolor makes the paper shrink and ripple. And I remember I had a sketchbook when I was a kid and I did all this watercolor in it, but then all the pages went all wonky and wavy. Well, duh, because they were wet. And so that's why a watercolor block is the way it is. Anyway, all of this is coming, and you will get a little glimpse inside of his studio. And that's my dream. My dream is to not wait until I'm 80 to have a studio like the one that my father built for himself at 78 or something like that. Because his studio is a really fabulous place. All right. That's it. That's all I got for today. Bye-bye.